When a model gets announced but then doesn't get released, but no collector knows why, then is cancelled, all pre-orders are scrapped, then re-announced at a more expensive retail price, and then finally delivered, of course again with a delay, then you have the perhaps most perfect Herpa Wings model, or at least the model that summarizes the company the best. And thanks to the great prices of the FMB shop, I am finally able to show you this model. So with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Embraer ERJ-170 of Lot Polish Airlines. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the Lot Polish Airlines branding. The backside of the box then again offers us another cutout, just shows how much Herpa cares for their product. And since there's nothing else to say about the box here, we can simply focus on the fact that this is a limited edition. And here she is, the Embraer ERJ-170 in the current standard livery of Lot Polish Airlines. We only had to wait 5 years for this moment to get the aircraft model in front of us, from the initially announced release date until today. So of course I'm very excited to get my hands on this aircraft model, but it is of course a Herpa model, which means there are some issues and we will talk about them later in the video. But first let's simply focus on the model itself to see what it actually has to offer. Starting off with a look at the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the Lot Polish Airlines branding. On the fuselage we then find the full registration code of the aircraft, the IATA logo and the aircraft type specification. Towards the very tail of the aircraft we do also have a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust, and if we look underneath the tail here we can see there is another printed detail. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we then find the Lot Polish Airlines branding. We find the IATA logo once more, a Star Lines logo of which the airline is a full member, and then around the cockpit section we of course have the cockpit windows with the window wipers, and underneath the cockpit windows we also have the last two letters of the registration code. The engine nacelles have been kept in all white, just as most of the fuselage, but do have the silver leading edge, the Lot branding and the safety relevant markings printed on. And the overall physical detailing is, I think, pretty much alright, especially given how tiny these engines on the Embraer 170 in scale 500 become. And from there we can move on to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at. Starting over the top side, where we can see the different flap slats and spoilers have been carved out very nicely. On the underside we have some more nice physical detailing, and we also find the full registration code of the aircraft once again. Of course we do also have some winglets here, and I think Herpa has done a pretty decent job here adding the Lot Polish Airlines branding to those. And then we also have the landing gear here, the main landing gear underneath the wings, which I think looks pretty good, and also the front landing gear I think Herpa has done a pretty decent job with. The only thing I'm missing here are some printed details. On the belly of the aircraft we then have a hole in the fuselage for a stand, which is not included, making this hole rather pointless, but at least it doesn't destroy any printed details. And then last but not least we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here at the back of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Embraer ERJ-170 in the current standard livery of Lot Polish Airlines from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Now, as I began with, there are a few issues on this aircraft model. I think the winglets are a little bit too wide, but if you made them more nimble in production, you would probably have them break all the time in scale 500, so I think this is a fair compromise from Herpa Wings, and overall I think they do look pretty decent. The next issue is a general issue that affects all Herpa Embraer models in scale 500, and so also this one. If we look at the front cabin door, that overlaps with the front landing gear. Now in real life with the Embraer, the front cabin door is placed right behind the front landing gear. Given that the back cabin door is placed perfectly fine, I believe the issue is that the front landing gear is placed a bit too far back on the mold. Overall, the issue is certainly not great, but it doesn't destroy the overall aesthetics of the aircraft model for me. That is, however, a completely different story when we come to the next issue, and in my opinion, the biggest issue by far. The first indication of the problem we get when we put the box next to the model. Look at the Lot Polish Airlines logos. We can also add the previous Lot E70 that Herpa produced between 2006 and 2010, and also here we will see that the colors simply do not match. So we have of course learned learned from Herpa Wings in the past that they do not shy away from selling us aircraft models with piss yellow wings, like the German Air Force, or for example a Dreamliner with the wrong white tone, even though they say white is white. But after 5 years of delay, they've still managed to mess up this model by adding the wrong blue tone. So after having waited for more than 5 years, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. So with this complete waste of time, it is time to end today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video nonetheless, then feel free to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, you are always welcome to hit subscribe, that would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye. I guess the next thing Herpa will come up with is the statement blue is blue.